Welcome back. The daily word, adversary. Adversary, against. We all know that God created everything. Believe that. God is real. Jesus is real. You're going to hear me say that often. They are. But today's daily word is adversary. Satan, which was created by God, is an adversary. He's adversarial towards God and his people. He was created for that. People might hear this and, oh, yes. How many times, and what I'm about to say, you're going to be able to relate to this. How many times have you guys seen some entertainer that goes crazy, he's doing all this stuff, and you guys say, somebody need to not be a yes man. Somebody needed to be able to say something to him, or to be able to show this person a different light and not have to be ostracized for it. I hear that all the time. You have entertainers, and all of a sudden the entertainer, he gets in all, he's running rampant, he's running wild, and nobody's there to tell him, hey, what are you doing that for? What's up? What's going on with you? They just, hey, and a lot of you heard the term a yes man. They just roll with it because they eating good, living well in the fancy hotels all over the world and all these kind of things. But sometimes you need somebody to be like, yo, you're not living right. You're not doing that right. That's not cool what you're doing. You need somebody like that. I'm a firm believer in God and all the decisions that he make, and I'm with him 100% whatever. But that'll just tell you how great God is. God created an adversary, a person to be able to look at something from a different or provide a different perspective, to, in a sense, almost challenge something God might be doing. Look at the book of Job, for example. God gave Job all this stuff. He gave him the family, he gave him riches, everything, cattle, and whatever was equivalent to being wealthy back then during them times. That's what Job had. Satan, as an adversary, would tell God, basically, the only reason he's doing that is because you gave him everything. Take all of that away from him. I bet he curse you, or he'll go against you. So God took all of Job's stuff to see how he would react, to see how he would be. But at the end of the day, Job stood tall and was still faithful, even though his faith and everything, it wavered a little bit, which is natural. You go from here to down here, it's tough. It's people worry, like what's next, and you just feel bad. He went through all of those emotions, but at the end of the day, he still believed in God. He still stood tall with his faith and got things back to how they were individually, spiritually, faith-wise, and all those other things that he lost, he was restored, and they were given to him twofold, 30-fold, 100-fold. It's a lesson to be learned out of that. God created something to be able to question him, to ask him, or to be an adversary to him. But the problem with Satan tried to do, he tried to overstep. He wanted to be God. As opposed to his job as an adversary, he wanted more than that and was condemned for that. But the idea of what he was originally supposed to be doing, it was a great idea, because you want somebody to be able to look at you and be able to tell you, Hey, have you ever looked at it from this perspective? Hey, be careful. That's not a good situation. That didn't care whether you gave them some or not. I'm a type of friend, if I was a friend of somebody and they're super wealthy and they're this and that and they're on this certain level and they're doing something wrong, I would be like, yo, man, that's not good what you're doing. That's not cool. That's not good. However you want to describe that scenario. Or if it's a young lady, I would do the same thing. Hey, I don't think that's a good idea. You shouldn't do that, or you should think about that, or whatever. Because you don't want them to make a mistake and all of a sudden, I don't want to like mention people name that's out there. You guys know who's out there today and the way they carry themselves and they do some things and people condemn them and then straight up condemn them and talk about them and all this kind of stuff. But that's the kind of situations I'm speaking of, to have somebody in your camp that's around you that don't look at you for any kind of personal gain, excuse me, but only look at you to try to help you and to be real with you. I used to tell my friends when I was growing up, if I ever do something, or if I ever get to a level that me and you can't communicate or you can't disagree with me, I used to always just be like, never be like that, because I'm not like that. I'll disagree with a billion people if I thought they was wrong. But here's with my disagreement, I would try to have some kind of evidence to support why I might be disagreeing. I don't do it for disagreement's sake. I'm not an adversary for being an adversary's sake. I would be adversary. I would be an adversary in situations that called for me to be an adversary, and that's very important. You got some people that are just negative, no matter what. They're just negative, negative, negative. But see, they're not going at. They're not being an adversary. What they're being, they're hating. Don't be a hater. Just be a person that can paint a different picture for friends or somebody in a position of power, but you're not fearful of them cutting you off, for example. I'm not giving you no more money. Who cares? Okay, don't do that. Don't give me nothing. But I'm still going to tell you, hey, man, I think that's a bad idea if you go do that, because it might hurt some people, or it's not right to do that. If I'm telling you that for the right, if I'm being an adversary for the right reason, there's nothing wrong with it. It's more of a check and balances. And that's very important. And I want you guys to understand that. It's not, and you're not being adversarial because you want somebody's position. That's wrong. But that'll just tell you how God is. God created something to be able to say, hey, you know what? Let me paint this picture for you. Or they might be this way because of this. Or let me test you guys on this. Or let me run a test on this person who you think is a certain kind of way, and whatever, and see what happens. And a lot of times, to be honest with you, people fail. A lot of times people fail because we get tested. God tests us. God tests everybody. That's the truth. That's the truth. He tests everyone. And at times we all fail. But what we got to do is get up. We got to pray, ask for forgiveness, and then try to do things the right way. We got to. That's the only way. But just the concept and the idea of the adversary is very important, and that's somebody that needs to be in your camp. Not a hater, not somebody jealous, not somebody who's trying to take your position. Somebody who cares about you enough to be like, yo, let me help you, or let me paint this picture so that you can't end up either hurting yourself or hurting somebody else. There's nothing wrong with that. But that'll tell you the greatness of God and how He is. That He actually created somebody to be able to be an adversary for some of the things that He might want to do or was thinking about doing, or that He actually did or implemented. But don't be a hater. Don't be jealous. Don't want that person's position. That's not being a true adversary. That's being a hater or somebody jealous or somebody envious. Be a true, do it for the right reasons. And like I said, a lot of times you check your own heart. You know when you're doing something shaky or that's not right. You know when you're saying, I'm going against this person because you just don't want to, you're not really happy for their success, or you're not happy about whatever is going on, and you're doing it for that reason. But you're not really doing it as a check and balance for a decision that they make. It's a difference, and I hope that I was able to have you understand the difference between a true adversary and somebody's jealous, somebody's envious, or somebody wanting that position, that's why they're going against. You're not that group, that side. It's okay to be an adversary for the right reason. You don't have to be adversarial off everything. Sometimes something can be communicated to you. You can logically look at it and be like, you know what, that makes sense, and I'm rolling with you on that. That's a good decision, or I think that's something that's a good choice for you, and I'm good with supporting you on that choice. So don't just do it for, you know, selfish reasons. Don't be an adversary for selfish reasons. I guess that's the most important thing. Do it for the right reasons. Thank you. Talk to you soon. God bless.